I'd like to call this piece of modern art, Ard has no clue what he's doing. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Statech Industry. And today, well, as you can see, I did a lot of cleaning up and made a storage room. And honestly, it's pretty much what you would expect, just a whole bunch of drawers and barrels stored over here with an interface back here and a travel anchor so I can easily get down here, as well as, well, the unfinished sections, as well as all the piping down the side tunnel there. But I should be clear, this is not the only thing I changed in between the episodes because frankly, I spent about 10 hours overhauling my base and I'm nowhere near done. As you can see, there's still the big huge hole there where I yanked all the drawers out. I haven't cleaned any of that up. I've also added another macerator back there to process all the extra ores, and we aren't anywhere near where we need to be. I normally spend maybe 2 to 3 hours making an episode and doing all of the work and getting stuff ready, and it's just been 10 hours of stuff I don't think I could really put into a video and keep it interesting. So I've been making do, but we're finally at a point where I think I should move on and at least, you know, move the narrative forward. But to give you an idea of some of what was done, I added a whole bunch more automation to handle all of the stuff that I said I wasn't going to automate previously to get things like the advanced machine hull taken care of. I also added another big huge bronze boiler next to this steam quarry where I punched up the hole intending to put a second one in, only to find out that this eats up way too much power. Even with these extra steam turbines I've got back here, it's only LV power and I really need to upgrade this to MV, except I don't think that electric pump can handle MV. So I'm just not going to worry about that for now. We do need to get the 2 quarries updated, but I will solve that probably between the next 2 episodes because it's just not a concern right now. I also, coming into the quest book, finished a whole lot of these quests. I basically finished all of the getting started in Steam Age quests that we hadn't done. The most important one being this advanced wireless terminal for Tom Simple Storage, which acts like the wireless terminal for Applied Energistics, except it has a range. The range can be boosted by beacons, but I don't feel like fighting a wither, so we're not going to go do that. It's good enough to reach most of my base, though, when I'm inside it, at least for now. And the main thing that had been holding me back on that was just the netherite, but I actually had enough ancient debris that I could actually do this now. So I guess first things first, let's go down to our storage and then collect all of our loot because there's going to be 15 billion bags, and let's take a look at what we got. It looks like the main thing were a whole bunch of artifacts I mostly already had. Although I don't know if I already had the whoopee cushion, but I don't think I needed this. And the fire gauntlet, which is questionable. Because right now I'm using the aqua dashers, which also, amusingly enough, one of the things this lets you dash across is actually lava, not just water. I'm taking some damage, but I do have fire resist from another one, as well as I'm constantly getting food from the everlasting beef. So this is just pretty funny. Let me find some soul sand. But we're also in the nether because we do have other things we need to do. Because one of the things we're going to need today are blazes, and we're going to need a reliably large number of them, specifically to get blazed rods. So I think we need to bring this home with us, and today I remembered my wrench. And we're just going to put it here in the corner of my mob farm, and hopefully this will work. This isn't a resturbed spawn or anything, it's just a normal one, but hopefully I'll be within enough range to get a reliable number of blaze rods out of it. I may need to move it up one so they hopefully will spawn closer to the vector plates, but we'll see how this goes. And they're already shooting at me. And now hopefully should start seeing some trickle in slowly. We won't be getting tons of them, unfortunately, because that's just the nature of the beast here. It should at least get as a trickle of blaze rods until I can actually make the mob crusher, which actually I can probably make now, but I need a bunch of materials and space and I would need to set it up. Thankfully, though, I already have a fairly sizable stack of blaze rods, so we can actually get started with today's topic. And because today's goal, oh hey, and apparently I got some gold drills that I thought were bronze ones, which we need to get the nether ores. But today's goal is to get up here to go make specifically the entangled tank, but all of the entangled items, which are basically redos of the ender tank. Oh, hey, there goes a blaze. The ender tank from 1.12 and from various other versions of modded Minecraft. Because if you remember from last time, you'll remember that I said I was starting to have issues with my cutting machines being full, and that my biggest issue is going to be handling the lubricant from this, because I've got no space to really pipe it up out anywhere. Well, the ender tanks will solve that problem, because then I can pipe them anywhere I want into my base. And let's be clear, we are about to head into a journey of lots and lots and lots of liquids, and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots more liquids. This is going to be a journey, folks. But the ender tank should make this a lot easier because I can just put whatever ones I need in their own channels if I need to pipe them somewhere. And the first step on that journey is the chemical reactor, because that's what's required to make the eyes of Ender that we need to actually make all of these items, which we ran into as a problem from earlier in the series. And while the chemical reactor is all stuff I have automated now, except for the large pump, which I probably should go automate along with the large motor now that I can. Those ones I didn't actually do. And I'm not going to, because I need large motors, which need the aluminum rods, which need more cutting machines. So I'm going to go make a couple more rods, and we are going to just jury rig this together real fast. I had forgotten to what extent I hadn't automated these, because I forgot that I also hadn't made any of the bits for the rotors here, which again we will solving once we have cutting machines. But there we go. Large pump done. And apparently I had more large motors made. Oh, and of course I can't count on I needed 2 more. The things I do in the name of entertainment. All right, this time we have the chemical reactor done now. And not only does this allow us to make the eyes of Ender, this is also where we can now start making the N-doped silicon plates and the P-doped ones off of dust. Although I'm just now realizing I have the dusts I need in normal drawers when I need them in compacting drawers, because I'll need the little dusts. I'm not good at looking ahead, okay? I try not to spoil myself, huh? At the amount of Tom Simple storage stuff I go through, I really should be automating these inventory hoppers, the normal hoppers, the level emitters, and the comparators. But I have enough problems going on without that right now. Which brings us to automating the Eye of Ender. And there we go, everything wired up, and yet it's still not running. This just needed to be set to 2, and here we go. It's making a very ugly bubbling noise. Quit it. Wow, this one is slow though. But there we go, first eyes of Ender. But now that we have those, the rest of this should be pretty much a cakewalk, because the entangled tank is, well, just a bunch more blaze rods and a block of gold. This is all stuff we have. Well, you know, I say that, but I used up a bunch of blaze rods before I actually got the blaze powder set on that macerator, so we're not going to make a ton of these, and we do need to make them at least 2 at a time. You know what? Maybe I should go sit over by the mob farm while I make these to spawn more blazes, huh? That is the beauty of the wireless terminal. But there we go, entangled tank number 1. Of course, now we need to make more cauldrons, and entangled tank number 2. So on the off chance that you have never used one of these entangled tanks before, they're very similar to the Ender tanks in that they have a set of color channels. To do them on Ender tanks in previous mods, you would use dyes, but here we're using runes. And we need to make some of these runes. So let's make a batch of these yellow runes, make 8 of them right now. And you just take the rune, and you see these white nodes on the outside, you just tap one of them, and it'll change the color. And this is now a yellow, white tank, which is what we're going to use for lubricant. You can see the color on the bar when we mouse over it. So actually I suppose it's 4 white, yellow, 3 white, but you get the idea. And then we'll drop it down next to this tank. And assuming I can find the correct angle, we will connect that and it will fill up full of lubricant. We can then drop down another tank, which is now empty, tap this with a yellow rune in the same spot, realize that you messed up, quickly make some white runes to reset it, go look back at this tank, realize it's that corner, hope that is correct, and tap that, and you notice that all of a sudden it fills up with lubricant. And these tanks are now linked across any distance or probably dimension if these are actually the same. But for instance, one of the things this lets me do is now set up localized liquids that can be used with clusters of machines or anywhere in my base, especially like lubricant into this new cutting machine, which is now making me my aluminum rods, making them loudly. Please stop that. But less obviously, it can also help me with stuff like the outputs of these blast furnaces that are putting out liquids. Like this is the synthetic rubber, this is the soldering alloy, and this is the one I don't have hooked up to anything that's doing molten redstone that I needed for some one-off craft at some point. Oh right, it was just to finish this quest right now, but we are going to need this soon. But it will help me with fluid management throughout my base as a whole in a pretty major way. That said, the Ender chest is also really useful as well for similar reasons. This lets you pass items across dimensions and without pipes. And we probably should make as much of the rest of these as we viably can. Honestly, we can probably make all of the rest. But let's start with the entangled chest, which would be scary because it requires an Ender chest, except the Ender chest can be crafted, assuming I have obsidian, which I may not actually. I could do it with the vacuum freezer, but I think we're just going to do this the hard way, since I'm only going to make the one for now. If only I had a pump in a nether and an Ender tank to pull lava out of the nether infinitely. This would not be a problem, would it? Yeah, I'm gonna have to automate obsidian production pretty soon. This is pretty tedious. I'd forgotten. As well as the mob crusher, I think being lava positive when doing blaze models, as well as gas if I actually need these. All right, entangled chest, which requires the normal ender chest. 1 down. The entangled bucket, which requires a void bucket, which requires more obsidian. And now we have an entangled bucket, which I believe just lets you bucket out of a matching tank. I apparently didn't actually pick up the void bucket, which was a foolish mistake. I assume this just voids any liquid you pick up with it. The ender pouch, which is just a bunch of leather around a normal ender chest, which we will need to make, and I don't have enough obsidian. But as a reminder, you can shear cows in this pack, and it's never not funny. All right, let's try this again now that we have both obsidian and leather. There we go. Ender pouch, which would allow you to interact with a vanilla ender chest. And then the entangled bag, which is the same thing but for the entangled chests, which just leaves the vacuum hopper, which is the one I had wanted originally over here to suck in loot instead of normal hoppers, and I may replace those. I don't know if I care enough though, because it also, I believe, sucks in experience. Yeah, it has a tank for experience. I don't know, I'm not sure. We might go fix it at some point now that I have one. But the important part is we now have a whole bunch more quests done, and we'll hopefully get some decent loot out of this, and we are now set up for fluids in the future. And emerald plate? Huh. And another diesel generator. It's like they're telling me that I need to go make the pyrolace ovens, which is probably not a terrible idea. And a fairly decent basalt generator if I actually needed basalt for anything. As well as not 1 but 2 recyclers, which are actually pretty pricey to make. And I'm pretty sure that's the thing that just makes scrap for the UU matter stuff, which obviously we're nowhere near. Yeah, here it is in the very last chapter, the replicator, which is so far in that this is probably not anything that's going to see any viable use in this pack, which is kind of sad now that I'm thinking about it. Well, I guess there is always the option of using it to make scrap from like cobblestone or maybe that basalt generator we just got to make scrap boxes, which give a whole bunch of different random loots, although most of it's going to be like garbage. Wow, this is just phenomenal garbage, but there is some decent stuff in here, like early titanium, though. Some of the stuff might be worth chasing down, honestly. And we could make a scrappinator to automatically process them, although it takes 32 EU. But like this actually isn't terrible to make. Alright, so this isn't necessarily the fastest or best solution right now. I've just got it slapped down for testing purposes, but it is generating a bunch of random junk, and I might want to start collecting some of this because this is actually stuff that could potentially be just useful for random junk over time. This is not where I saw this episode going. Thank you, loot boxes, for pointing me in a direction I hadn't expected. Oh hey, and there is an entry here, and I just missed it for the recycler, the scrap, and the Scrapboxinator, which it didn't give me credit for. There we go, much better. So I guess we should gather these and see if we get any more surprises. An aluminum barrel, which is going to trigger another quest. There we go. Well, that was some pretty good progress for today, though, because now I've got my fluid situation mostly sorted out thanks to the entangled tanks, and that whole Tech Reborn Scrapinator thing was not where I expected to be going today at all. But we still have a lot more cleaning up of my base to do, so we will see how far we get. Because really, we need to get over to the right side of this to get through stainless steel so it can actually properly unlock Applied Energistics 2. But that's a problem for another day, Ard. If you found this video interesting or entertaining, please leave a like or subscribe if you're new. As always, I'm Ard. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.